Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited. I finally have my hands on the tweeds, the beautiful 5 shadow tweed palettes from Chanel. That is today's video. I picked up all 4, so I'm going to do a quick breakdown of the collection, and today's video is dedicated to one palette only. I will be discussing number 1, Tweed Cuivré. Here on my channel, I will do a dedicated video to each palette to give it justice, so please make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I post new videos on the collection. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. For those of you new to my channel, I have an online beauty consulting service. This is a one-on-one Zoom chat with me where you get my undivided attention. You don't have to share me with anyone. So if you've recently picked up some fall makeup collections and you want some advice personalized on how to apply it at home, go ahead and book a session. So as I stated, on the weekend, I did a little short video just showcasing all 4 tweeds, giving you guys some swatches, but today we will be discussing number 1, Tweed Cuivré. But in case you are not aware, the tweeds recently came out here in Canada. They were available September 1st. And if I go on the Chanel website right now, you can see all 4 tweeds. These are a limited edition, certainly. There is 01 Tweed Cuivré, 02 Tweed Pourpre, 03 Tweed Fauve, and 04 Tweed Brun et Rose. As well, they also added 2 limited edition eyeliners here. I believe they're limited edition, I'm not sure exactly, but these are the Stilo waterproof liners. There are 2 shades to choose from. I skipped them because I have enough waterproof liners. They were not the super exciting part of the collection for me personally. For me, it was all about the tweeds. So for today's dedicated Tweed Cuivré video, I will go ahead and create 2 eyeshadow looks with the palette to show you guys how versatile it is at home. I will also provide lots of swatch comparisons with palettes, with singles that I think might be close to what you have at home, just to help you out. Let's go ahead and start off by giving you some swatches of the palette first of all. Now I know some of you have stated that some of it sold out already on the Chanel site. I purchased mine through Holt Renfrew. I believe it's also available at the Bay and Shoppers Drug Mart or Pharmaprix here in Montreal, but I think it's also supposed to be available through Harrods and maybe Selfridges. I'm not certain exactly, but those are the retailers: Nordstrom's, Holt Renfrew, the Bay, Harrods. Those are the ones that I'm aware of. Perhaps Saks and Neiman Marcus will get them as well, but I really don't know. I would say that 3 of the shadows is very reminiscent. They feel like buttery Chanel eyeshadows. There is only this one over here that feels like a topper shade. It feels a little bit dustier. It feels like a topper shade that you might find in a Tom Ford palette or something like that. Like it looks like a light gold reflection and definitely is not as intense as the other shades. I love that these palettes, the tweeds, all come with their own individual pouch, the tweed pouch that matches. It corresponds to the color story inside the palette here. I love that. And also what I noticed is that inside the pouch, it also says Chanel, like there is a little CC logo across the pouch here. So just to add the extraness of this whole collection. I did go ahead and do my face makeup off camera, which I don't typically do, but for the sake of brevity, I thought I would do face first and just do the eyes here. If you're curious about what I'm wearing on my face or what makeup brushes I'm using, please go ahead and look in the description box because it is all listed down below. Okay, let's go ahead and create 2 separate looks. I'll create one that's lighter, maybe one that's a bit darker, just to show you how to use it at home. So to start off with, I'm going into my Chanel dual-ended brush. This is the retractable smudger and definer brush. I'm going into this side here. It's a bit more tapered and it offers like a nice packing effect where I can just sort of sweep on a very intense amount of color. So I'm going into this shadow down here, and I'm just going to load up my brush. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that the tweed embossing goes all the way down. Well, I do see that it is holding up to the swatching that I've been doing here, but I don't think it's all the way down to the pan, unfortunately. So I'm just going to take this. It's a really beautiful gold shade. I like how reflective it is. It almost looks like I wet the brush, even though I didn't. But you know, sometimes with these types of gold colors, if you wet them, they get even more intense. I just am going in dry right here, and it's just looking really pretty. Oh, actually, I almost went ahead and did that on the other eye. Oops. Good thing I caught myself. Now I'm going into this color up here. I think this is arguably the darkest color in the palette. So I'm just pressing this onto a tapered pencil brush. This is the Rephr 03. I'm just knocking off a little bit so I don't get too much fallout. And I'm placing this in the outer corner. This is really rich. It's like a really rich chocolatey brown. And I'm going to take a little bit and trace it on the bottom lashes here. It's very opaque. The first two colors that I'm using are very intense, like very little work needs to go in to get the color payoff that you want. Like, look at this. It's really beautiful. You know, when it comes to warm neutrals like this, they may not have reinvented the wheel, but listen, these are really pretty colors that are very flattering. I'm going into another Chanel dual-ended brush. This is the Blender and Shader one, and I'm going into the blending side here. And I'm just going to go into the crease just to blend this out a bit softer. Which palettes did you pick up? Did you get all four? I know some of you did, but some of you showed more restraint than I did. So leave a comment down below letting me know which palettes you picked up during the tweed fever that we're going through. I'm going to leave this eye as it is for the moment. I'm going on to this shader side of my dual-ended brush. This is just like a classic eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to go ahead and do this side here. So now I'm going to go into this color up here, and I'm going to place them on this brush. This shadow is definitely more coppery. It's a brown, but it's not a gold. It's not a chocolate brown. It almost has like a rust color to it. And this palette is really pretty because all like the three shadows that I've used so far have a really beautiful satiny metallic finish, not glittery, but just a beautiful satiny finish. I am taking it up a little bit higher because I do have hooded eyes, and so I just want to be able to see this beautiful color. I love how satiny, like it just looks like I wet the brush and it's this like intense color. It's very, very pretty. I'm going back into my dual-ended brush. I'm going into the more tapered pencil side, and I'm going back into this color here. Just going back into this one, and I'm tracing it on the bottom lashes here. This is acting as eyeliner here. I went ahead and cleaned off my brush here, so I'm going back into the very tapered side of the dual-ended brush, and now I'm going into this color here, this gold color. So this one here, I'm a little bit apprehensive because it feels a little bit more like a topper shade. So I'm just going to press it into the corner here. I think pressing this type of shadow is going to give you the best results because the way it's milled is different. It's not as creamy or buttery. So I think it's more to press on. You could go ahead and tap it, roll it onto the lid, or just tap it like this, like I'm doing. Now, there are in fact several different eyeliners you could use. I just thought of this as I was working. So my classic would be number 88, Noir Intense, which is just like a pure pitch black waterproof liner. But if you have 943 Brun Agapé, it's a really nice brown. Or if you have number 20, I think, Espresso, I think it's number 20. Yeah, espresso, like a dark chocolatey brown. That would also work. I'll go ahead and just give you some swatches of the liners here next to the eyeshadows. I think Brun Agapé is like, there's very little left, but I can go ahead and do a little swatch on the side here. I don't have espresso, but it would work. I also have this one here, 48 Or Antique, which is like a pure gold, like yellow gold. So I think this one would also work. And then I also have one from Sisley. This is number 2, Matte Tonka. This is a matte chocolate brown. This is exactly what this is. And it's waterproof as well. So it's really dark, but without being black. So if you have light eyelashes, let's say you're very blonde and very fair, and black mascara and black eyeliner is too harsh, you could do like a espresso color. And then I have this one here from Chantecaille. It's a very creamy eyeliner. It's not waterproof. This one is called Jasper, and it's a dark rich brown, but it has like flecks of warmth and gold, so it's a bit more reflective and it's less intense. So here are maybe some eyeliner suggestions to go with. These would stay within the same color story. You wouldn't be doing anything too bold or too extreme. It would just go in nicely with what the eyeshadows look like here. So for this side here, I'm going into 88 Noir Intense, just like a perfect pitch black waterproof eyeliner. And then for this side here, I'm actually going to go into my Sisley Tonka. This is number 2, the matte dark chocolate brown. I just think it'll go a bit nicer with this color story here. And to complete the eye looks, I'm going into my Chanel mascara base. It's a white base that just helps fortify and enhance the lashes. And then I'm going to go into my new Allure mascara, the Click like this, and I'll be right back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. I added a bit of concealer as well. So I noticed there was a tiny bit of fallout. There was a little bit more on this side, I think, with the gold topper shade, but that's really it. If you want to do your face before, you could. I personally prefer eyes first, but even eyes first or eyes second after face, there wasn't that much fallout, so not so bad. Let's go ahead and take a vote. Which look do you prefer? Do you prefer look number 1, like this one over here, or look number 2? Make sure to leave a vote down below. I don't really know. I feel like both of these are gorgeous, and like I would wear these during the day. I would wear these during the evening. I think they both look really pretty. I feel like maybe the gold has dissipated a little bit with the concealer on top. Let me just go ahead and add a tiny bit more of the gold, because I did go ahead and place concealer basically in the same area where I had placed the gold earlier. So it's not that crazy that it's not popping quite as much. But there we go, just like a little bit of brightness in the inner corner. Let's go ahead and add swatch comparisons down my arm now that I've already buttered my hand up here with eyeliner and eyeshadow. Again, this is the original tweed up here. Let me go ahead and do some swatch comparisons. And for those of you asking, I am wearing one of the new Chanel lipsticks on my lips. I'm wearing 198 Nuance. So first thing we're going to compare it to is the Mediterranean palette that came out. This was, I think, spring of this year, of 2022. I don't know if we'll have many dupes or similarities, but we might. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch this a notch lower. I would say that these have nothing to do with each other. They are in the neutral, warm, like really pretty eyeshadows, but there is there are no dupes here. There is nothing replicated. So if you have Mediterranean, go ahead and get this tweed cuivré because there's nothing that's replicated. I'm also going to swatch Tom Ford Suspicion because this has been my go-to warm toned like JLo type of eyeshadow look, and I think that this one might have some similarities. I would say that Tom Ford Suspicion is like a second cousin. It's definitely not that closely related. If you have Suspicion, I hope I swatched it properly, it's hard to tell, but I think if you have Suspicion, you would definitely enjoy the Tweed Cuivré, but they're not perfect dupes. I thought maybe this shade here would be close to this one. No, I mean, they're both like in the chocolatey brown, but that's about it. I feel like the other colors too, like this one, and like they're just, there are no dupes here. If you like one, you will like the other, but rest assured, you can get both and you're not gonna get makeup regret. Next up is a single here from Sisley. This is Sparkling Topaz. I love this as a single. Let me go ahead and swatch this on top here with one of the knuckles. I think the closest would be this color here. It's definitely not a perfect dupe. Absolutely not. This one has more gold reflection in it. It's close, but not the same thing. Again, I'm not seeing a perfect dupe of like makeup regret where I'm like, why did I even purchase this? It's more just like, oh, of course I like this because I already own other shades that are similar to it. Let's move on to Chantecaille. I have the single here called Lion. Now this is one that I often like to wet to make it more intense, but I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it dry here. And I think this might be close to the gold shade. I put Lion right here. No, like this is the gold from the tweed and this is Lion here. They're both very reflective and satiny and metallic, but again, not a perfect dupe. Like they are close, but I would say that the one from the tweeds is more orange, warmer, whereas this one here almost doesn't have as much orange to it, not as bronzy. Interesting. I would say that the tweed one hits more gold, and Lion, it is a gold, but it's not as yellow. And last but not least, I have a Chantecaille single here. This is Giraffe. This is like a really beautiful brown, like a chocolatey brown. I put it on this side here. I really hope that I did justice. I might have to do some contortioning to show you all these swatches here. But no, like I thought maybe it would be close to this one here, but it's more burnished and like more brown, not as cool. Like I think this tweed one looks like it has more cool compared to this one. It's just, yeah, you can see how all of these are nice. And if you like one, you would like the rest of these, but I don't see any perfect dupes on the back of my hand. In order to complete my look, let me go ahead and add a bit of perfume. I'm going into my Coco Mademoiselle L'Eau Privée. It's a nighttime mist, but you can also spritz it on your hair because a perfume for your hair is the most extra thing I can think of. Okay, so what are my thoughts? I think that this is a very, very pretty palette. I think these three shadows are the best. Super creamy, super opaque, and very like satiny. They give you this look like you wet the brush when you didn't. This one here leaves a little bit to be desired. It's not my favorite shadow. It reminds me of like a Tom Ford topper shade, if you know what I mean. Like this is what it reminds me of. But overall, I think the palette is really lovely. I love the color story. I didn't think that I would because when I see this type of color story, I know that I have similarities, but the thing is, it always looks so beautiful with very little work. And I love that it comes with its little pouch here. It's just so extra and so lovely. And I'm very, very happy to have picked it up. I am very happy to have picked up all 4. I cannot wait to showcase more of these. I mean, the rest of these with you guys. Leave a vote down below. Let me know which one you want to see next because I will basically recreate this exact same formula with all 4 palettes. So 2 tutorials, lots of swatch comparisons, review, all that jazz. Again, if you're not subscribed and if you don't have your notification bell set to on, make sure you do, because you want to be notified when I post these videos. They're very informative and very educational and just very helpful for you guys at home. I can't quite decide which eyeshadow look I prefer. I think they both look really lovely. Just kind of depends on your mood and your taste, and I think it's lovely. Like this, like I said, this color story was not, like they did not reinvent the wheel with the color story, but it's one of those things that is a classic for a reason. It's very pretty, very lovely, and I'm very happy to have picked it up. So on that note, that is all I have for you guys for today. So thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.